Show with your host, Tiberius, boy!
That's me, Tiberius! Today, we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a video game about chess, a book about Geronimo Stilton, and we have a totally awesome guest. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Daniel Shaw! Daniel is the president of the new Pro Wrestling Action League.
Thank you, Tiberius. That was a great intro, and that's coming from a professional announcer. So,
Wow.
Good job, brother.
I think I'm pretty good now.
Absolutely.
Well, today we're going to start off with the video of the week, and this is going to be a checkmate.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Chess New Game Mode.
Cool.
It is a game on the Roblox platform, and because it is on Roblox, you are able to play it on PC, Mac, Xbox, and even your cell phone. And it is free.
If it's free, it's for me.
Well, it was made by Cookie Development, and this is the only game available from Cookie Development, which is actually really cool.
I like
It's a
cookies.
really good game.
Cool.
So, most of you know I like chess, but that means I want to be sure a game is good if it has chess in it. So you join the game and you can do a ranked match. The graphics are great and the pieces are good too. They have different skins for the chess pieces to make the game more interesting. There are a few modes. There are like regular, pawn battle, and random. I enjoy random mode because you can have better pieces on the back row. I do not like the pawn battle, but normal is pretty cool and a great way to practice my skills in chess. The game ensures you to follow the rules of chess. You can castle, but the game does not allow you to en passant, which means if you move your pawn 3 spaces up, and then the opponent moves it right next to it, you can take it diagonally.
I thought en passant was like what you eat for like the bread in the morning from France.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did like the customized options, and the lobby is easy to meet new people to play. Oh, and you can customize the board as well.
Neat.
I know, it's really cool. I give Chess New Game Mode 7 out of 10 stars because the visuals at the front desk and the pieces were amazing, but I had a hard time with some of the camera angles. And now it's time for the book of the week, Paws Off Cheddarface. This book is written by Geronimo Stilton. Let me read to the back of the book. In fact, Daniel, would you like to do the honors?
Absolutely. All right. Geronimo's got company, and not in a good way. With 2 Geronimos on the loose in New Mouse City, things quickly get very confusing. Geronimo has to find this imposter, and soon. But who is he, and what does he want with the Rodents Gazette? Geronimo needs answers before it's too late for his beloved newspaper and his reputation.
Wow. Well, this is an AI book that is worth 1 whole point. It was made for 3rd grade and first month. You can get this book at the library or on Amazon. I have really fallen in love with the series of books. We again join Geronimo Stilton, who runs the Rodents Gazette newspaper. He writes about his adventures as a traveler. This time, Geronimo has been accused of all sorts of things that he did not do. He was accused of stepping on someone's foot the day before.
That can be painful, right? You step on somebody's foot, that would hurt.
Well, he was accused of going on the radio and telling some of his secrets.
Ooh.
Whoa. He was even accused of performing live on a stage show while he was really there. And he saw the imposter.
Wow.
I know, super weird. There was someone going around town that just looks like Geronimo. But he was making everyone very upset, and then he got locked out of his own boardroom meetings. That's disappointing. I mean, what is a mouse to do? I mean, after much research, he found the fight, and he decides to fight fire with fire. But he got some people together, and... Well,
and? What happened next?
Well, I can give you the
Why not?
entire book. I mean, I want you to go read the book yourself.
All right, I'll read the book.
Well, I give Paws Off Cheddarface 8 out of 10 stars because it was cool to see how you can make an imposter of someone, but not cool how to see Geronimo was getting hurt by the things that the imposter did.
I'll have to read the book. Thank you for the recommendation.
You're welcome. And now it's time for the interview of an interesting person.
Who's that?
Well, it's going to be you.
Oh!
And today, this is going to be so much fun. And today we have the one, the only, the amazing Daniel Shaw. Daniel is the president of the new Pro Wrestling Action League and is a ring announcer. That's actually really cool.
Isn't that, though?
Yeah,
Thanks,
it
Tiberius.
I
We
mean-
actually patterned this after a comic book.
Whoa.
See-
I mean, I can see it too. I mean, that's like really cool.
Yeah, we've
How
done
did
the
you
gutters
color
like
it
a
all?
panel. I have a very talented graphic artist who knew exactly what I wanted and did a really great job conveying that.
Wow. It's really cool. So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
I am having a great time. This is my second time here because we did this a couple years ago, and now I'm back for the sequel.
Yep. Okay, so I have to ask.
Yes.
Your bio lists you as the president of the new Pro Wrestling Action League. What is this new league?
I never thought you would ask. So, Pro Wrestling Action is the newest, most exciting pro wrestling league in all of Central Florida. We have a great, fun, family-friendly event. The debut event is Sunday, June 27th at Tuffy's Bottle Stop in Sanford, Florida, and it is called Heroes versus Villains.
Wow. It's really cool.
Thank you.
So with the RAW and WWE and other leagues already out there, what motivated you to make your league yourself?
Well, there's so many great wrestlers here in Central Florida, and I wanted to give them a new venue where they could entertain the public. We've got great heroes that you can cheer for. We got dastardly villains that you're going to jeer at, and you're going to have a great time with your family at Pro Wrestling Action Presents Heroes versus Villains.
Wow. Okay, so how did you get started? Did you just set up a ring and say, come fight me?
Well, remember, I'm not fighting. I'm just a ring announcer. See, I'm the guy that holds a microphone and talks real loud, kind of like somebody I know. They're the actual fighters. So the girls and the guys are trained very well. They're professionals. They have to train a long time before they're even allowed to have a match in the ring. But man, these wrestlers are so great and so entertaining. You guys have an amazing time.
Wow. So what is the best part about being a wrestling promoter?
Well, not only working with such great talent like some of the people you see on our flyer, and there's more of about 20 great wrestlers on this first show, but also to meet really cool people like Tiberius.
Huh. Wow. So how do you choose who's going to fight who in the league?
So that's the interesting part of being the promoter. It's kind of like you said, you're playing chess, except I get to pick my pieces.
Oh.
See, well, you've got pawns and queens and kings, and I've got a Detroit Barbie. I've got the technical alchemist. I've got Charlie. I've got Agony. I've got, with Dr. Eric Christopher, the wrestling psychiatrist, Chico Adams, and the Prince of Rome D3,
Wow.
among others.
Wow. Well, what is the hardest part about being a wrestling promoter?
Dealing with promoting, which sounds obvious, but you've got to get the word out everywhere. You've got to get flyers everywhere. You've got to talk to people. You've got to get them excited as you are about this show, so they'll do things like putting up flyers in store windows, handing out cards for us, buying tickets, because if we don't have enough people to do the show for, then we can't do a second one. Yeah. So we're going to really push to have a great house. That's what we call it when we have a lot of people attending. Give them a great show and have them come back so we can keep doing Pro Wrestling Action month after month.
Now, I also know that you're a wrestling announcer. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. Well, about 10 years ago, I made friends with a fellow who owned his own wrestling promotion. And one day, just hanging out, I said, hey, man, if you ever need an announcer, and he said, you're on. I'm like, what? He said, well, my announcer just quit, so thank you for volunteering and stepping up. And I was like, okay. And I've been doing that for 10 years. Wow. I've announced shows in Florida, Chicago, Georgia, Minnesota, and all different states.
Wow. That's really cool. Well, do you ever get the desire to fight another person in the ring?
Well, remember, I'm not the fighter. I'm not the wrestler. These guys and gals are the professional fighters. And trust me, I wouldn't want to step in the ring and fight any of them. Even the girls.
Would you be the ref?
Nah. See, I've got a big mouth. And the referee, all he gets to do is yell, 1, 2, 3. But I get to announce the wrestlers, which is real fun.
Oh, yeah. I think I can tell.
I think we should try having you announce a wrestler.
Okay. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but sure, we can try.
All right, I'll tell you what. So let's pick one. Okay, so let's try the girl, okay?
Okay.
So this is Marina Tucker. Her nickname is the Detroit Barbie, and she comes from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. So we always start with where they come from. We usually don't say weights for girls because they get mad. And then we say their nickname and their name. So I'll go first. Ready? Hailing from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, she is the Detroit Barbie, Marina Tucker. And now you try.
Okay, so in this corner coming at it, none of your business pounds from Detroit, Michigan, the one, the only, the every lovely Detroit Barbie, Marina Tucker! And the crowd roar!
Good job, Tiberius.
Thank you.
You might be putting me out of business there, kid.
Probably not. I mean, I have a whole other show to do.
That's true.
So starting a league is a big job and a passion of yours. Well, do you have a day job?
Absolutely. I've been an insurance agent for about 18 years, and I help families and companies with their health and their life insurance.
Wow, cool. So what is the coolest part about being in insurance?
Helping people. I love being able to put people in a better position so that if they ever get into trouble, they know they can depend on their insurance.
Okay. So, your bio says that you have an event coming up. Can you tell me about that?
I think I can. And by coincidence, I have the event flyer right here. You want me to do this in full announcer voice?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sunday, June 27th, at the world-famous Tuffy's Bottle Stop and Lounge, also known as Tuffy's Music Box, it is Pro Wrestling Action presents Heroes versus Villains. Heroes you can cheer, villains you will jeer. Great, fun, family-friendly pro wrestling entertainment for the whole family. We've got such great wrestlers as Chico Adams, Cha-Cha Charlie, Marina Tucker, and more. And you can only see them live Sunday, June 27th. Get your tickets now at prowrestlingaction.com/tickets, and I'll see you at the matches.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was actually really good. So, when you were a kid, what did you want to do when you grew up? Did you always know that you were going to be a wrestling promoter?
No, actually, when I was a kid, I thought I was going to be an attorney. I thought I was going to be a lawyer for a little bit. And then I went to college and looked at what law school was and said, not for me. I don't like suing people. And then I thought maybe I would be a writer. So I used to do some creative writing, but that became more of a hobby. And when I lived in New York, where I'm from Queens, New York, I did a few different things. I helped to run a small private school for a few years. And then I became a headhunter on Wall Street, where we found people for jobs and took them from one company to another. And then I moved to sunny Florida, where I became an insurance agent.
Wow. That's actually really cool.
Thank
so
you.
kind of run me through it. What kind of tasks does a wrestling promoter need to do each day?
So, a promoter, you have to promote. So what does that mean? Well, today that means you've got to be very adept with social media. So you've got to have great photos and great videos of your wrestlers. And you've got to be able to share them in an interesting way to get people's attention on the various social medias using photos, blurbs, links, videos that the wrestlers themselves will shoot to promote the show. You've got to go the old-fashioned route, and you've got to print up lovely flyers like this. Full color. Very nice. And you've got to talk to local businesses and ask them, hey, would you help us out and help us promote the show? And a lot of them will put them in windows for us. You've got to talk to sponsors, companies like Chill Cryo Sauna, Smile by Design Studio, and others who help to fund the show in return, announcer not always perfect, in return for us promoting them as well to our fans of our show. And ultimately, everything is down to getting enough people interested and excited about pro wrestling action that they come, buy a ticket, sit in a seat, have a great time, and tell their friends what an amazing time they have and come back for the next one.
Wow, that's a lot of marketing.
Yes, it is.
Well, do you have a lot of training to work in this job?
As an announcer or promoter?
Announcer.
Okay, so as an announcer, I used to take radio and television production in college. I went to Nassau Community College and then Queens College, and I worked on lots of different projects, and I learned how to speak, how to act on camera. Then I used to watch different announcers. In fact, Ricardo Rodriguez from the WWE, I met him once. I said, "Give me some good advice. What do I do?" He goes, "Speak loud." So that's why as an announcer, I tend to speak loud. Thank you, Ricardo. And I understand that I have to be eloquent, which I'm not always in real life. I have to pronounce the names correctly. So when I'm at a show, you see me in the ring. But before a show, I'm getting dressed. I'm talking to all the wrestlers, getting their weights, and doing everything that I need to do to announce them properly.
Wow. So if you could think of one thing that would make your job easier, what would it be?
Always having a microphone with me.
Because sometimes you forget, don't you?
I can forget things too. That's why I write
Yes.
things on cards.
Yep. So what was the one event that you produced that you are most proud of?
Well, I've helped out other promoters produce their events, but the one that I believe I'm going to be the most proud of is our debut show, because it took a lot to get here. We were going to run a version of the show a year ago on Friday the 13th. Bad luck. And what happened was, unfortunately, as we know, there was a pandemic, and everybody was shutting events down. 24 hours before our first show, the building shut down because they were scared of the pandemic. Well, it's taken a year and change, but we have a great venue partner in Tuffy's Bottle Stop and Lounge. We've got great professional wrestlers. And by the way, some others who are...
Is it big?
Is what big?
Is the place big?
Yeah. It's gonna be cool. You're going to see it. You're going to be there, right?
I don't know.
Yep, and we've got some other wrestlers who are not on the flyer. Well, actually, you interviewed one of them last year. Sophia Castillo is going to be on there. I know she's a favorite of yours. The Rapture, which is a great tag team, is going to be on there. We've got a whole bunch of great wrestlers. And if you go to ProWrestlingAction.com and click stars, you can see many of our great talents. And following us on social media, such as Facebook, Pro Wrestling Action, you'll see all of our people.
Okay, so what was the first job that you ever had?
Ooh, I was a beachcomber.
What's that?
I knew you were going to ask. So when I was a little bit older than you, 14 years old, I lived in Long Beach, Long Island, New York, the city beautiful, the city by the sea. And as a kid, I would go with other kids at 6:30 in the morning. Oh, I hate mornings. And we would comb the beach. We'd have a little basket, and we'd pick up the garbage and put it in the basket so that when the tourists got there, they saw a nice, beautiful beach and not everybody's garbage from the night before.
Wow. So was there anything you learned from that job to help you be a better wrestling promoter?
Wow, that's a great question. I never really thought about that. Get up early and work. That's the best thing I can say that taught me. Get up early and hustle.
What if you don't want to get up?
Yeah, well, that's why you got to learn to do it.
Well, what is the craziest thing that's happened while you were doing your passion?
All right, I'll give you this one. I don't tell about too many people. So, a little while back, I was announcing a wrestling show, and as I got in between the ropes, stretching my legs, I heard a little tear. So I'm like, uh-oh. So I hop back in the ring backwards, talking to the audience. And when the camera was off me, because now they're seeing the wrestlers come in, I reach back and I'm like, oh, okay, it's a tiny little tear. It's no big deal. And I spent the rest of the night getting in and out of the ring, in and out of the ring, in and out of the ring. After the show, I was split from the belt all the way to the crotch. So I was basically mooning the audience for the entire night. You asked.
Whoa. That's embarrassing.
Yes, it was.
So who will motivate or inspire you the most in following your dreams?
My parents.
Oh.
They always wanted me to be happy and pursue whatever it is I want to do in life. And this is what I'm doing.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
Well, what advice would you give my listeners if they wanted to go up and be in the wrestling industry?
Okay, as wrestlers, as announcers, as what?
As... I don't know. Anything.
Okay, as wrestlers. Get trained properly. You will get hurt. It's going to happen. But what you need to do is research very carefully professional wrestling schools you can go to. Make sure you check out that the trainers are good people, that they're well trained themselves. Ask a lot of people. And then when you find a school that you're comfortable with, give it 110% every day.
What do you think would be a good school for that?
Well, there's some really great schools here in Central Florida. There's Pro Wrestling 2.0, and they're at the Boardwalk Bowl in Colonial. There is Flatbacks over in Apopka. And, of course, WWE Hall of Famer Devon Dudley has his own school in Winter Park as well called the Devon Dudley Academy.
Wow. Well, if you could go back 10 years and tell yourself something, what would it be?
Buy Amazon stock.
What?
Buy Amazon stock.
That's pretty basic one. Okay, we're going to go with it. Well, what was the biggest mistake you ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Wow.
I know I haven't asked you this question.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. You're grilling me. I thought this was going to be like a puff piece, man. Like, you're going to come in here and make me feel good.
Like last time!
No. I mean, there's like, before your time, we had somebody named Barbara Walters, and she would get her people to cry. You don't want me to cry, do you?
No.
Okay, I don't want to cry. But I make mistakes all the time. But I just learn from those mistakes and try to do better the next time.
Yep. So when you're not working with announcing or promoting wrestling, what do you do for fun?
Oh, actually, I'm a comic book fan, so I love collecting old Batman collectibles, for example.
I mean, this explains why.
That flyer definitely shows my comic book fandom.
Yep. Well, do you play video games? And if you do, what is your favorite one?
Wow, it's been a long time. The last video game that I got hooked on was a few years ago, and they canceled the game, thankfully, because I got my life back. Avengers Alliance on Facebook.
Oh.
Thank you, Disney, for canceling that game so I was able to get my life back and do other things.
Well, do you play any other games on your phone?
Not anymore. I thought about that for a second, but I don't.
Darn it. Well, what is your favorite book to read?
I still will, once in a blue moon, pick up an old comic book and flip through them. Sometimes the old ones from when I was a kid, sometimes a new one just to see how they changed the characters. And I also like to read self-help books or books where you improve yourself.
Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
Well, if they want to learn more about me, they can go to my personal website, which is Daniel Max, M-A-X, like an X-ray, DanielMaxShaw.com. But more important, I would love them to go to ProWrestlingAction.com. Check out all our great wrestlers, our great sponsors, learn about our event. And they can also go to social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and look up Pro Wrestling Action. On Twitter, it's Pro Wrestling AC1 because I don't know how to work Twitter.
Makes
Tweet.
sense.
I can tweet.
Okay.
Tweet.
So, what is the one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
How people can buy tickets to Pro Wrestling Action, Heroes versus Villains.
Wow.
I'm glad you asked, Tiberius. So, you folks at home, you can go right to ProWrestlingAction.com/tickets and click to buy your tickets right now to Pro Wrestling Action Heroes vs. Villains, and be there for all the great matches at Tuffy's Bottle Stop and Lounge in downtown Sanford, Florida, Sunday, June 27th.
Wow, it's a lot of promoting the show.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Daniel, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Math is hard. Do I have to do math?
You don't have to.
Can you do the math?
Yes.
You can do the math. I'll promote the wrestlers, you do the math.
Oh. How am I supposed to know their weight then?
It's your show, man.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Thank you, Daniel, for helping me with Math Corners. Today, we're going to talk about mean.
I don't like mean people.
So, this week we're going to talk about list of numbers and the mean. Well, this is not to be mixed up with, like, being mean, like,
Oh, like some of my wrestlers, the bad ones.
Yeah. Well, we don't ever want to be mean to people unless they are in the ring about to fumble you. But in math, mean means the average of a list of numbers. Or, to be more detailed, the sum of all the values in a list of numbers, divided by the number of values in the list. So, if you just have a list like 2, 5, 4, 3, 6, you have a total of 5 values. So first you list them in order from lowest to highest. So when we write down the list, it will say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now that we have that, we can add the total values. Let's see, we have 2 and 3, which makes 5, and then you take that to the 5, and then we get 10. Oh yeah, we got a 4 and 6, but that makes 10. And all those together, we get 20.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, 20.
Yeah. Well, the total of the values are 20, and we have 5 values. So now we divide the 20 by 5, and then we get the mean. So, 20 divided by 5 equals 4. So the mean is 4.
I like 4. 4 is not mean.
So Daniel, do you now know what the mean of a list of numbers is?
Everything you just said.
Well, thank you so much, Daniel, for your help with math.
Glad I could help, Tiberius. Was that a lion?
Yep. And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're going to talk about integrity. For me, I think integrity is doing what is right even when no one else is looking. The qualities of integrity is honesty, sincerity, truthfulness, and fairness. Well, I'm with a heavyweight champion wrestler that talked about being humble and doing what is right. He was the winner of the match, but he was sincere and he did not brag. Instead, he was an example to kids and told them to surround themselves with positive people and do good things. So Daniel, did you see or use integrity at all this week?
Yeah, I think when you make a commitment that you're going to do something and you follow through, and it's a positive thing that affects people in a positive way, that's an example of integrity.
Well, of all of the Heart of a Lion virtues, which is your favorite?
I'll go with integrity, since we're talking about integrity right now. Because to me, that means you represent yourself truthfully and that you honor what you represent.
Oh, yeah. Well, we should always try and be a lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
There's not really a lion in here, right? Because I heard that roaring.
No.
Okay, cool.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Daniel Shaw for being on my show.
It was a pleasure, Tiberius. Thanks for having me back.
It has been so much fun talking with you today, Daniel. And I hope in the future, one day, that I can learn how to mount some wrestlers in the ring.
Absolutely, man. I think you are a natural.
And make sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host,